Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Under, Over, or Just Right, and this is Long Island Wargamer Nick.
Chris.
And we're just going to be going over, we're not going to go over units this time. We're actually going to be going over some Skaven Magic Items, because I have a confession. I use magic items from the Skaven book. That's, I don't know if I should be ashamed of that, but the three items we're going to go over are Warpstone Tokens, the Skaven Brew, and the Doom Rocket. Are they fairly priced, or are they under, are they over? We'll talk about it. So, we're going to go into Warpstone Tokens quick, and just to give you guys all an idea, it's an arcane item. You could take as many as you want. You could put them on Warplock Engineers and Grey Seers. They're 15 points each, and it essentially allows you to roll an extra dice for your spells. And on the roll of a 1, you take a wound, no armor save. So, I think 15 points, they're evenly priced. What do you think?
All right. I think 15 points is where they have to be.
Right.
I think the item is broken.
Go ahead.
But I don't know if you can make them more or less.
I feel like 20 points is too much, but 10 is too little.
I agree. 20 points is too much. I think 20 points is too much, but 13 is too little or 14 is too little. And the only reason I don't like this item, and I get that on a roll of a 1 you take a wound, but at a relatively low risk, Winds of Magic is still like, oh, I got my 4 best spells. Great. This is going to be good magic phase if I have an average roll. And then if you have a, average roll, okay, so we're talking average roll, you're talking what?
7 power dice?
Yeah, 8 dice.
8 dice.
Something like that. 8 dice. So, or 7 dice, I guess. So on an average roll, you're talking 7 dice. And on a below average roll, you're talking 5. So on 5 with Skaven, you're not really going to throw anything at the Dreaded 13 or something. You're going to cast it on, Plague or something. But then if you use Plague, then you got 1 dice left over, some rinky-dink spell you really don't care about or something like that. Whereas in this case, if you have a Warpstone token, you can take an average magic phase or a below average magic phase and get something out of it. And most armies, maybe besides Dark Elves and stuff like that, don't get that benefit. If I roll as an Orc Goblin player, if I roll a 2 and a 3 and I have 5 dice, I can cast Foot with it, but I can't do anything else that turn. Right. That's it. That's my only choice, or to cast Hand of Gork, or to do something like that. And it's mostly the same for the other armies, whether it be Bed of Shades or Occam's Mindrazor or something like that. It's just, okay, well, I have to cast this spell. Like, it's very clear most of the time what spell you have to cast. And the fact that these items, they're just so hard to balance in general. Like, not even just the fact of the point value. The item itself is a little crazy.
Was it balanced in 7th edition?
I didn't play 7th edition.
This book was for 7th edition. I'm going to say definitely balanced for 7th edition just because you capped out on how many dice you can roll. And it wasn't 6. I believe it was 5. And the risk, it's not much of a risk when you have a Grey Seer on a Screaming Bell. You've invested so many points, and the Screaming Bell gives them a 4+ ward save. Yeah, you get no armor save, but a 1/6 chance you're going to take a wound. So there's a 15... And then half that chance, you're going to save it.
It's like almost a 15% chance you're going to take a wound, and then a 50% chance that you... So in essence, that comes down to what? There's a 7% chance that you're going to take a wound with Warpstone Token.
Something...
If it's on a Screaming Bell. So like, when you think... I know you don't add percentages, but I'm pretty sure that's still an accurate number. So when you think about it that way, when on top of a Screaming Bell, you really don't have to worry. Now, I'm not saying you roll 4. You don't roll 2 1s and then roll 4 of them. At that point, you give up on the Dreaded 13th. But, what was the point? You had a point, and I was going to rebuttal.
The fact that there's a chance of getting hurt?
Yeah, the chance of getting hurt is even low without the ward save most of the time. You can roll 2 of those dice pretty nonchalantly and be okay with it.
This item...
And considering a Grey Seer comes with D3, and on average you're going to get 2, that's a lot. That's even if you only spend 30 points, which isn't a large allocation of money in a Skaven army, if you spend 30 points on it, that item, like, it has the potential for such, like...
Right.
I don't know. It's so simple, yet it can make or break something.
Well, this is an interesting way of looking at it. It doesn't count towards your maximum for magic items, so you could take as many of those as you want. It doesn't count towards the maximum arcane.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so you can take another arcane item on top of this. Warpstone tokens do not count against the total arcane number items a model is allowed to bear. So you could take another arcane item from this book or another one, and the Warpstone tokens. Now, an interesting build is if you want to go dice heavy with your Gracier. He gets a D3 right off the bat, so we'll say an additional one on average, and then you could buy, 6 Warpstone tokens?
Yeah.
So you can have 7 Warpstone tokens on average with your Gracier if you want to max out on that. Now, if you want to play a little more conservatively, you take 4 Warpstone tokens and a Scalm, just in case you do take wounds, because the Scalm allows you to regenerate all your wounds, which I don't think is likely. But then again, when you're playing Orcs, where there's a spell that can hit casters, right, or whatever, if the
sniper spells, stuff like that.
or if you don't have him on a bell,
yep,
you don't get that ward save. It's an interesting way to build your Gracier if you want to go heavy on the tokens.
Which, if you're playing a game 2,000 points or above, most of the time it's on a bell.
Right.
I don't think you don't take it on a bell.
Yeah, I mean, I have not taken him on a bell, but the bell is just so effective.
Yeah.
So
it does more than just give him a 4+ ward.
Mm-hmm.
That's a video for a different day.
Definitely.
It's a video for a different day.
All right, so I'm going to say they need to stay at 15 points.
I don't think you can move him. I don't think you can move him from that point total. I just would love to see you able, or like a limit of 2 or something.
I could
the number
see that.
you can have. Because if you're already getting D3, and I mean, it's random. You're already getting D3 on a Gracier. Whether the average is 2 or 1, there's still the potential you get 3. You have to, I think when you talk about balance like that, there's a potential that you get 3, and that far outweighs the potential you get 1. And even if you get 1, it's still fine. So, I don't know. 2. I think you need a limit 2.
Okay.
I think 3 is too many, and I think 1 is too little.
I think
you need
2,
limit
if
2
you buy
to
2 for 30 points and then you get your D3 for the Gracier, D3 plus 2, that's not bad. I usually buy 2.
Yeah, 2 sounds like, 2 sounds like it should be
So
a
to
limit.
fix this item, there should be a limit.
There should be a limit. I think there should be a limit.
I agree.
And, I remember my point I had.
What?
As to the magic phases in this edition versus last edition, and this book. This book was the last book put out in 7th edition. So that's a whole... maybe I'll do a video on that.
Why it doesn't make sense?
Why the new magic items versus the old magic item books are kind of broken in like, not broken in a too good, too bad way, but broken in like, I don't design understanding for this edition. But this was the last book put out. So you would think that they had 8th edition in mind, because this book came out, 7 months before 8th edition came out in the Orcs and Goblins book? Because the Orcs and Goblins book was the first book out in 8th.
Right.
There's only a 7-month difference there, and you had to think that they had the understanding of, magic phases are going to be huge. We're talking how long between editions here? 2 years? 3 years? 4 years at some points?
What, from 7th to...
Between physical editions, 7th
and 8th? I feel like that was 4 years.
Yeah, we're
maybe?
talking 4 years.
Yeah.
Where you think they made the decision to make magic phases huge in the last 4 months.
Right.
That has to be a cognizant thing you're going into it with. So, I from a book design perspective, that's a whole other thing. Though.
Right.
But...
And there's just so many items. There's like 100 magic items in this book. And then a new book, you get like 5. But...
Yeah, we'll talk about that. I could do a video on that, actually.
Do it.
All right, that'll be my first vid. That'll be my first podcast. I could do that.
All
That's
right.
easy.
So let's jump on to the Skaven Brew. 50-point item.
Or it says on his note sheet, Skaven Brew. Skaven cheese.
Skaven Brew.
Skaven Brew.
So the Skaven Brew, it's a 50-point item that you give to a character, and a unit of either clan rats or storm vermin can drink it. And you roll a d6 on a 1. You take D3 strength 3 hits, which sucks. You start the game down 50 points and then a couple models, whatever. 2 to 3, your guys gain hatred. 4 to 5, your unit gains frenzy. And then 6, they get rabid, which is a +2 attack frenzy, but at the end of every turn you get D6 wounds. I think it's a little underpriced for 2 reasons. It's just good. It yields a lot of effect, and like everything else in the Skaven book, a lot of risk, huge reward.
Lot of risk is a relative term. Man, keep going. Sorry.
All right. I think, to be fair, not to go too much over, make it 55 points. This way a hero can't take it. Make it a lord have to take it, which may make you take it less because when you have your lord, you want to give him some better equipment. But in the past, I've given it to a 15-point engineer just so the unit has Skaven Brew. So, like,
It's ridiculous.
it's kind of cheesy, but that's what I've done. So maybe make it a little bit more so a Lord has to take it. But what do you think? You think it's...
I think it's underpriced like crazy. I agree that it needs to be on a Lord. It needs to be, for what you get out of it, it has to be...
What you can get out.
What you can get out of it. Okay, what you can get out of it. For not a huge point stake, let's be honest, 50 points for a magic item that could give your unit +2 attacks, everything +2 attacks. Okay, you're taking D6 wounds, but on average in a, even in a 1,500 point game, you're talking unit size of 50. Or in a, 2,500 point game, you're talking unit size of 70, with you're just talking a lot of stuff. So the drawback of, D6 wounds is okay. And then, you brought up the point when we were discussing the video, well, I wasted the money on the item.
Right.
What are you going to buy with 50 points that you already done? Like, you going to buy another horde of rats? You don't need it. At that point, if you have another horde of rats up against your rank and file rats up against anything else's stuff, you're actually just giving them more combat reps.
Right.
So there's a point where there are too many rats. So, I think the item needs to be like 75 points.
No way.
And I would challenge any Skaven. Like, this is what I want to say.
I feel like
in a small game, 75 points may sound a little outlandish. Okay? If you're playing a 2,000 point game or higher, which is a problem balancing Warhammer, is like the point values of a game. What's good at a low amount of points? What's bad at a high amount of points? What makes... It's tough to balance that. I don't envy Games Workshop in that manner. But... you spend 75 points. I challenge any Skaven player out there to look me in the eye and say, if this item was 75 points and you had to take it on a Lord, you wouldn't take it.
I would not take it.
On what planet?
For 75 points, I'd rather give him a weapon and some armor.
Planet? How much is your cheapest Lord?
90 points.
You just take another Lord. What?
Yeah, but
on what
a Lord at 90
that?
points and then a 75-point item, you're sitting at 165 for maybe something good. And when I say maybe, I say...
maybe something good? There's a one...
I don't think rolling a 6 is that great. Yeah, you get 2 extra attacks on clan rats. D6 guys a
which
turn.
makes a unit that's supposed to be chaff able to kill things.
Listen, D6...
it turns a chaff unit into a combat unit. How does that not break the game?
Yeah,
that makes the game not break.
I don't think that makes clan rats that much better.
The sheer number of attacks you have at the initiative you have against low initiative armies, it doesn't matter.
Yes, I mean...
You're increasing the average amount of wounds you get.
Well,
you're increasing an average. At any point you increase an average... I used to have to do the math, but at any point that you're increasing the chances or increasing the average in this game, it is more than beneficial. So you're making a unit that costs less points more fruitful. And I don't even think you need to be
I understand, but the downplay of D6 automatic wounds, on average, you're going to lose 18 guys a game, which is about 100 points, just on that item, throughout the course of 6 turns. That's average. If you roll a bunch of 6s...
and if you roll a 6, though. Like, great, you roll a 6, I take wounds. If you roll... I think one of the best rolls
that's if I roll 3s each time.
I think the best roll on this table is 2-3. I think you get hatred on a unit.
Yeah.
That's the most cost-efficient... you can tell we're from Long Island. That's the most cost-efficient... that's the most cost-efficient way to do it. If you roll a 1. I would even say 75 points and you make a 1, 2d6 strength 3 hits.
No, I wouldn't buy it. There's too much risk there.
Any Skaven player on planet Earth. The way
you're going to get so many comments on this video.
I don't care. In a large game, if I played Skaven and this was still 75 points, in a large game, I would still take this item. I would take another Lord and take this item all the time. All those giant rat darts you do buy that don't do anything, you like 2 of the 6 that you buy do something. So if you were to get rid of 3 of them, if you get rid of 1 of them, that pays the dividends for it, right?
I guess so. I don't know.
So we're talking 25 points more than the original. Don't think 75 points flat out, because when you're like, oh, that's outlandish, think you're paying 25 points more than you would have.
No. I don't, because now you're adding more price to the item and then giving it more worse effects. 2d6 strength 3 hits on a roll of a 1 is terrible.
So keep it d6.
I'm going to go back to rolling a 6. If you even on clan rats, an average roll on d6 is 3.5. So 3.5 times 6 turns is 21 guys times 5 for your clan rats. I know this sounds crazy, but that's 100 points you're going to lose for that +2 attacks. Now, people are going to say I'm crazy for even giving a shit about the 100 points. But, I mean, let's go on Storm Vermin. I usually put on Clarence. I don't know if anyone puts it on Storm Vermin. But let's say, even without shield, Storm Vermin, so you're going to lose 21 guys on average. That's 150 points. 147 points you're going to lose just from this Frenzy crap. But...
okay. And your point is what?
I don't know.
Like,
you're
arguing a point about an army. Like, your army's supposed to be volatile. If we make something less, like something that's less pretty stable. I'm sorry, D6 a turn is pretty stable for an army that has so many models. So, if we're talking making an army that's supposed to be unstable, a little bit more unstable and less reliable, because let's be honest, all of your magic items are extremely reliable. Even though they're quote-unquote have a chance of failing, they're still more reliable than not.
I guess. I don't know.
On average, they're still more reliable than not.
I'm getting hung up on this rabid thing only because with your point increase. With your points of 75 points purchasing the item, and then on average losing 150 points worth of guys.
Yeah.
I feel like that ends up being like you're losing 250 points.
What it makes you take it, I don't know. I think it makes you take an extra cheap lord, which is fine in the army. So on top of the cost of the lord, I feel like you're sinking way too many points in one item. I know
55 points.
It's not. No, 55 points.
55 points.
Is horse crap.
55 points. It makes it so you have to invest additional points to even bring it.
You would take it if it was 75 points. Maybe not if you added D6 to the 1. Okay, I'm saying that on my planet of Skaven, where if I played Skaven and I won every game I played, I would always take it even if it did 2 D6. That's my personal opinion. That's the point of this video. Personal opinions.
Okay.
I think 75 points is pretty fair for an item like that. When you compare, going back to the previous point from the last topic, when you compare magic items in this book to, say, an Orc and Goblin book or a, what was the book after Orc and Goblins? Vampire Counts? No.
After Orcs and Goblins was Tomb Kings, I think.
Was it Tomb Kings? I thought Tomb Kings was after. It's either VC or Tomb Kings, right?
No, it was definitely Tomb Kings.
Yeah, I guess VC items are good, but you know, when you compare this to even ogre items, like ogres have good items. Maybe I'm just comparing them to Orc and Goblin bad items, but
I don't know.
I think 75 points is reasonable for what you're getting. When you look at the fact that, a book like Orc and Goblins has to pay 100 points to reduce your weapon skill by 4, but get 4 extra attacks at 10 strength, which you don't need.
Right.
And I'm paying 25. I'm paying 50 more points for something like that than you would be for. He moved the page. Something like that.
It's 50.
So I don't think in the current edition, the way we see new items, and that's also part of my argument. I don't know how you feel about that. What we see with new items,
I think it's sad.
I think if that went up to 75 points in a future Skaven update, which I hope they do in sake of nerfing everything, but no, I honestly, Skaven's one of the strongest armies, and that's okay. I don't mind. But if we talk 25 more points for it in the next book, I think that's, most people aren't going to be like, well, that's stupid. Nobody's going to do that.
I feel like in the next book, hopefully there is no Skaven Brew, and the 4 or 5 magic items I do have are, like, good ones. Because I feel like they can't keep all this and the Bestiary, which is these random items that you can bring in the beginning of the book. I don't know. We both agree it's underpriced for what it can yield, but...
It needs to go on a Lord, and I'm sure most people can at least agree with the fact that it needs to go on a Lord.
We'll keep it at 50 points, but only a Lord can take it. That would be a restriction.
No.
All right. You want to move on?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. I thought this was going to be a quick video, but it's not. So Doom Rocket. So just to review what this is, it's a 30-point item that you can give to only a Warlock Engineer, which, is only 15 points.
Holy hero, Batman.
But it's a one-use only item. You fire the Doom Rocket, you nominate a direction, you roll in between 4 to 10 dice, so you get to choose. Very random. But you get to choose the distance, how far it moves, and the rocket will travel that distance equal to the number rolled.
Your definition of random is much different than mine.
Well, hold on, let me finish. Any model touched by the template suffers a Strength 5 hit from the resulting explosion. Large template, Strength 5. If you roll 3 or more 1s, it's a misfire, and there's a chart that you'd go to where it could land, and then it's a dud, and it happens on another turn.
How many times has that happened to you in the last 5 years?
One time in the last 5 years it's happened to me. But that's because I wait until my enemy is about 18 inches away, because I only have to roll 4 dice. Now, on 4 dice, average,
You shouldn't even get a 1.
no, you shouldn't get. Yeah, you should get maybe 1-1.
1-1.
But on average, you know it's going to be around 14 inches away. So I mean, anyone that rolls 10 dice on this item is absolutely crazy because there's such a huge range of where it could go. But the accuracy alone, it goes in a straight direction, so it doesn't go crazy unless you misfire. But on 4 dice, on average, about 14 inches. When you're 12 inches away from your enemy, you fire that thing, no problem. So essentially, this thing comes out to 30 points and then 15 points for the unequipped engineer. So 45 points, you get this one-use only siege weapon that you get to move around.
Large template, strength 5.
Large template, strength 5. So I think this thing is underpriced. Do you think this thing is underpriced?
Yes, I think it's.
I use it every game because it's only 45 points with the engineer.
You can only take 1, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
like any other magic item, you can only take 1. But large template, strength 5. I mean, I've dropped this thing on units of special units and high elves. The thing destroys it.
10
No armor
points,
save.
Yeah, 10 points a model, no armor save. You figure
Even
average.
more. If you're going against like white lions
Yeah.
or great swords, and they've got a large unit of them, toughness 3, you're wounding on 2s. It's knocking out the armor save. It's devastating.
Yeah.
Absolutely devastating.
And it's more reliable than it is random. Can you agree? It's
At
more
short range.
Yes,
And
less than 20 inches.
At short range only because there's less variation in distance and there's also less chances of rolling 3 once. It's very accurate.
Right. I think it's, that's my problem with it is it's like, well, there's a chance. There's a chance that something bad happens, but even that bad, then you need to roll on a table to see if it's the worst it can be. It's not like I roll 3 1s, I immediately get the worst result.
Right.
It's out, and there's still a chance it goes further and hits 2 units or something.
Right.
I don't know what the 6 on the chart is.
Wait, what?
What are the misfires?
All right, for you roll a 1, place the template over the model, and it just blows up. 2 to 5, roll a scatter dice to determine the new direction the missile will fire, which could still be decent or it could be really bad.
Yeah.
Or 6, it's a dud. Resolve the shot as normal, but do not place a template. Any model directly below the impact spots suffers a single strength 5 hit. Place a marker and roll at the beginning of each subsequent Skaven shooting phase on a d6 roll of 4+, the rocket finally explodes. So that gives the opponent a turn to move out of it.
So it becomes a landmine.
Yeah. But you can make it more accurate if you decide to. For example, if you give instead of waiting for the enemy to get close to you, make him a level 1 caster. Give him Skitter Leap, which is the ability that you could plop him anywhere on the battlefield.
You're dumping a lot of points into a Doom Rocket.
Huh?
You're dumping.
Well, considering how accurate the thing is, a horde of Black Orcs is pretty long.
Yeah.
It's about 10 inches long.
Yeah.
So you Skitter Leap the guy about 3 inches. We'll say 4 inches on this flank of the Black Orcs, and you fire it, you're always going to get the maximum amount of hits. Because if you're rolling a 4, then that means you've also rolled 3 1s, so the thing's going to blow up.
Yeah.
But if you roll maximum 14 inches away, which usually doesn't happen when you don't roll 4 6s. You don't roll, 14 inches is average, so 4 6s is...
So how much does a level
24.
1 caster with Skitter Leap cost?
Let's see, 15 points for the guy, and then it's 50 points, I believe, to make him a level 1 caster.
Why don't you just make this thing worth... Why don't you just make the thing worth 95 points?
I don't know. I mean, if you're going for super accurate, Skitter Leap him over there, and then Skitter Leap other heroes around the board. I don't know. See what I'm saying, though? You can make it very accurate.
Yeah,
but...
you can.
All right.
I think it's too cheap.
So, to fix it,
Just get rid
if
of
we
it.
were to keep... Just get rid of it.
Just get rid of half of the magic items of this book.
All right. How about this? To keep it at price 30, what would you change to it?
Strength 4.
Strength 4, would you keep it large template? Strength 4, small template? No?
I think Strength 4 small template.
Yeah?
I don't know. Is what it should be, but I know I'm going to get so much hate for everything I've
All
said
right.
in this
How
video.
about Strength 4, large template, 2 1s it misfires?
I don't think you take it.
Huh?
At 30 points?
Yeah. I still take it.
You and I are not on the same page about anything.
All right, 2 1s it misfires. Okay, what happens? There's a chance it's a landmine. There's a chance that it goes in a random direction. I don't know.
Yeah, that's great. Skaven players do that. Strength 4, small template, 2 1s and misfires. All Skaven players should agree with that. I think that's a great idea.
I'm just trying to make it
If
better
that's what
for
it
30
was,
points.
if that's what it was, I'd love if you took it every game because then I'm just like, oh, it's a Doom Rocket. It's not like, oh crap, he's got a Doom Rocket.
Doom Rocket.
Normally it's it makes it much less intimidating than it is. I think it's I don't.
All right, so the way it is right now, how many points? You can't be more than 50.
It has to be 50.
All right, so an
I think
engineer
it
would
has
take
to
this for
be
50
50.
points.
I think it's 50 large template strength 4.
I could deal with that compromise, however.
Large template strength 4 still knocks out most armies if you hit. And you're talking like, if you're talking big blocks of stuff, which a lot of the games come down to nowadays is what your big block does. Even if you only take one, it's what your big block does. And most of the time they're going to hit your big block just because there's more surface area. If you have a big block, of course they're going to hit it. There's more surface area to do damage. I think you're still talking average. You hit if you dead on or partial, you're talking 8 guys, 9 guys, 10 guys maybe. That's a partial.
Right.
If you dead on it, you're talking 40, and you're talking on average half for the big armies. So you're talking 20 guys die. You're not rolling to hit. So I think against even the things with toughness 4, like orcs and goblins. I mean, ogres have a lot of wounds.
I wouldn't take it against certain armies then if it's.
You wouldn't take it against ogres. Oh, yeah, I mean, you could take.
No, I would never take it against ogres, and I wouldn't take it against orcs and goblins if it was only strength 4.
Really? If you land that thing directly on
There's
anything
less,
but
less,
a savage orc,
I feel like I would bring it. I feel like I would bring it less.
all I get is a 6 save on a black orc if you hit it, and I get a 6 save. I mean,
I don't know.
So now you're doing 17 wounds. That doesn't sound good to you? 17 wounds doesn't sound good to you? I don't know.
All right. So we both agree it's underpriced. I mean, 50 points is reasonable.
I just want to hear what everybody thinks about what you would do to them, or if you think the items are misplaced at all in the first place.
Watch this. I'm going to add another item to the list. Chris, what do you think about
this? This is very not premeditated, so I have no idea what he's about to say.
Chris, what do you think about the Plague Banner?
I think it's absolutely... Can I curse? No. It's absolutely so stinking stupid in this edition, and this is the item that bothers me the most about this book in this current edition, in that it was the last book put out when we knew... They didn't make this decision 4 months before the release that hordes were going to get +1 support attack. Or, they did not make that decision that close. And if they did, well, there's a problem internally there if that's a decision they made within the last 4 months of a major book release. So when we're talking Plague Banner, just honestly, I don't even know, like, how long is the text for a Plague Banner?
All right.
It should just be, what is it? Three words. Okay. It's technically 2 words. It should be reroll anything. That's all it should say.
This foul, dripping, and disease-ridden banner invigorates the plague monks to a new rabid ferocity. All right, so essentially it's a one-use only banner for 30 points that allows you to re-roll all missed hits and missed wounds for your plague monks, which, remember, are frenzied with an extra hand weapon and with lots of support attacks. You're going to get a lot of hits and wounds.
It doesn't matter what you're fighting. It does not matter. It takes a unit with relatively average strength and should go up against something with high toughness and a mediocre save, and it should get stopped. There's a point where you just, like, chaff doesn't work against this unit.
Right.
It doesn't. It's just going to melt anything that it comes up against with that banner. So...
You always have to just bait these guys around the field, these frenzied guys.
You do, but in this edition, you could just roll and not go. There's always a chance that you go, but you're talking Skaven leadership. Most of the time, if you have something on a Screaming Bell, you're talking 18 inches, which, when you're talking big blocks, is not very far away.
If you put enough fast cavalry and crap in front of me that I either have to charge or not move, I feel like it sounds like a waste of investment, but I feel like that's what you got to do.
I feel like Skaven player has to make a mistake.
Yeah? I don't know. I think this thing needs to be easily 50 points.
How many points is it?
30.
Oh, you misspoke and said 50 before, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is 30 points.
Where I think 50 points is still... I think it has...
Well, if it's more than 50, it would have
I just think the item needs to go. I don't understand it. I think
it doesn't belong, but I always use it.
I don't know. I don't think it should go. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say.
All right, for 30 points, what should it do? Reroll missed hits or reroll missed wounds, if you had to choose between the two?
You always want to reroll missed hits. Because it's just a potential for more wounds.
Right.
You always want to reroll. I think if you reroll missed hits, it's always better than reroll missed wounds.
I
I don't know the
think
math behind that. I'm just assuming.
I think I'd rather reroll missed wounds
Why?
because odds are you're always going to be hitting on 4s. With strength 3, half the time you can be wounding on 5s, depending on who you're playing. So against orcs and goblins, I'd rather be rerolling missed wounds. You see the math there?
But isn't it? Oh no! Now we're doing this thing where we're going to embarrass ourselves and try to do math on camera, and
half the time weapon skill 3, most of the time on weapon skill 3, you're going to hit on 4s.
Force.
With strength 3, against strength 3, toughness 3, you wound on 4s. Against toughness 4, you wound on 5s.
I think you want to reroll wounds on a unit with less attacks.
Yeah.
I think when you have as many attacks as they do, you want to reroll miss hits.
Yeah, I guess so. Either way, this item is just totally broken. And
I don't know what you do to it to fix it. I don't know.
Let it do one thing or the other, or make it 50 points.
But do you think Skaven needs it?
Could you imagine winning 4s to hits, 4s or 5s to wounds?
5s to wounds is
At
tough.
strength 3, you're gonna get all your armor. You're gonna.
I can agree. 5s to wound is tough.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you take away the missed to wound or missed to hit, whichever one works out mathematically better. You give them something for it. You make it 50 points.
I would have to say it would have to be reroll missed wounds, because then it's almost just like having hatred. It might as well just be give hatred.
Plague monks with a furnace are pretty scary as it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would be less scared of them without the banner.
I think it would.
I haven't done the math for it.
It would be a lot less scary.
Well, I mean, chaff could sit up against it. At that point, you're talking chaff can actually hold it up. What we're talking with this banner is it's going to rip through chaff.
If it's just 10 wide, which is really only 7 because the furnace takes up the space of 7, you're going to do 3 attacks in the front rank and then 2 ranks of support attacks for 7 times 5. That's 35 attacks.
Yeah.
That's really not a lot when you're talking about horde play, but when I get to reroll everything, I usually get about 30 wounds, which is kind of devastating against his black orcs. Because, he still gets his 5+ save, but still, on average, I'm going to be killing at least 10.
It just makes the unit so efficient.
Yeah.
It makes it so efficient because we're talking... How many points is Plague Monk?
7.
We're talking 7 points versus a... Just for example, you can equate this to any of your armies. I know since we're Orc and Goblin Skaven players, we tend to talk in those terms, but you can equate them to anything. We're talking, I spent 12 points a model. Toughness 4, strength 5 on the first turn, most of the time against a unit like that. And half that unit doesn't live. And after that, it's not a matter of winning anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't want to throw... The problem is, you don't want to throw your combat blocks up against a unit with the banner, and then if you throw a chaff unit up against the banner, most of the time, it's not going to last more than a turn.
Right.
Most of the time. Whether, whatever it is. Unless it's, most of the time, if monstrous infantry up against this thing, probably still monstrous infantry. Monstrous cav probably still dies. I haven't run the math. No, monstrous cav has good armor. Maybe monstrous cav is the one thing that could be thrown up against this.
Oh, I feel like Mornfang and Skull Crushers would destroy this.
Yes, infantry is really, and I guess the reason I'm so biased against it is because I play an infantry-based army.
Right.
A lot of the time. Boar boys don't do anything to this thing.
Right.
What am I going to do with a boar boy?
Oh, well.
So...
Well, in the comments below, let us know what you guys think about those 4 items that we discussed, how you guys deal with them, why you think they're stupid, and then click any of these links here. We got some other series going on, Meet the Gamers, and also our other Under Over videos. Yeah, my Meet the Gamer will be coming out soon as of time of recording this video, and I think I'm going to do one of my first podcast videos. I'm going to do a series of Orc Goblin videos, and I think I'm also going to do a mini-series that I really don't have a name for yet. It's probably just going to be like musing on Warhammer, and one of the things I'll do is, I guess, the difference in the magic items in the books, in the physical books, the physical army books for this edition versus the previous edition, compare, contrast, and maybe try to figure out where the direction GW thought they were going was for the evolution of this edition at the start and where we currently are. Cool. So maybe we'll see. All right. Very good. Yep. This was a lot longer than we thought. We thought this was going to be 10 minutes. And then 35 minutes later. 35. Like, subscribe, and comment. Thanks, guys.